So people would like to know a little bit more about how an attachment actually attaches to a client or a human being. And we might go through a few examples to explain that. You may start.
Yes. Well, there can be many ways. It can be also due to a past life that was brought in here. But let's just say a certain person is very sad, or they might feel numb, which is on the lowest frequency on the frequency chart. And when we feel numb, it's more of a lost soul or attachment, whatever you want to call it, that will actually attach to our aura field or our chakra system. And because it feels that numbness, which that certain entity or energy or lost soul also feels, so they're very comfortable with that emotion, certain emotion. And so that can be one way of them attaching to a certain individual as well. Also, any ones that have had addictions.
Mm-hmm.
If there's, I think you gave an example earlier in another video on someone passes, they've had addictions, they might want to find someone very similar to what they have been addicted to.
Now, let's say we can just re-explain that. The bar alcoholics, okay?
Yes.
On a bar, you have many people that are there not just because they really enjoy the drink. What they do, they try to numb with the alcohol certain emotions.
Right.
Okay, it could be sadness, grief, could be anger, could be all kinds of stuff. Usually emotions in a lower level of frequency.
Right.
So let's say there's a lost soul hanging around, not really knowing why they're still here, and this so-called lost soul was an alcoholic too. Maybe had a life where it was really hard for them, they had many sad moments, and is more a sad lost soul that used to have a drink as well. So where would you go first when you're sad? You would go to the bar, okay? So that lost soul goes actually to maybe even the bar he knew, goes in there to want to get a drink, but soon figures out, well, it's very hard to get a drink. Somehow nobody listens to me, to the bartender. So there are other in the bar, and maybe exert a certain emotional state like he experienced. So I feel comfortable with that person, and goes to the person either in close proximity or even tries to get into the body of that person to feel how it feels to get a drink. Okay. And with that, that's it. They can stay together forever. Yeah.
Also, children. There was an example where if a child has died instantly, doesn't know where he or she is at, and can attach to maybe a woman that might feel very connected to, like a mother figure. So that's another example that could happen as well.
Yeah, or that child goes back to the mother, want to feel nurtured by the mother, doesn't know what's going on, and stays with the mother, and the mother was still grieving very hardly, and doesn't want that child let go, so they have a connection together on a energetically, emotionally base, and they try to be together, and the child can be attached to the mother, and that's maybe the reason the mother for years still feels the child around her, even smells it maybe, because the connection between mother and child is very, very strong. So if you listen to people talking sometimes, what they talk about, you can almost hear that, oh, so the child is still here, yeah, I can feel her, she's still here with me. It shouldn't be that way, the child should go home as well. So we have to work on that. Another nice example of how you can contract, I would say basically is to understand it's usually the lower frequency stuff, the emotional lower frequency stuff.
When they attach.
Yeah.
Most of the time it is lower frequency. And that's what is important also to be taught through our work too, is how to raise your vibration frequency to prevent any attachments from attaching to your aura chakras as well.
Or we have the client, we cleared the attachment, and one of our purposes of doing the hypnosis session to clear it is to as well find the weak spot. So why did that attachment even occur? So our client had a reason, an opening somewhere, and now we have to work to close that, to make that person, that client that we have, safe. So not
and
let
so
them
it helps
home.
them understand too as well.
Yeah, not to let them go home and then a few days later another one comes over and oh, it's nice, I'm going to stay with her.
Yes.
Yeah, there are many other ways that this can happen, but just to explain it a little bit. Okay, well, thank you for listening.
Thank you.